Hello and welcome to episode of the Bubbs on Sports podcast. Today is Wednesday, March 15th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Wednesday, March 15th here today. We got a lot to unpack. It is an exciting day if you're a New York Jets fan, as Aaron Rodgers earlier today said that his intention is to play for the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers wants to play for the New York Jets, and now it's all about finishing this deal out, agreeing to compensation, and the New York Jets will have Aaron Rodgers under center in 2023. Man, I am fired up. A lot of excitement. It is a celebration for Jets fans. We have every right to celebrate. We have every right to be fired up. All the pain, all the agony, all of these years, to be able to say that Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, all-time great, Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the all-time greats, is going to be under center for the New York Jets, feels great. It sounds great. What a time to be a New York Jets fan. We'll get into that today. We'll also get to Darren Waller going to the Giants. We'll also get to some New York sports stuff as well. Apologize for no video on Monday due to scheduling. Just couldn't get one out. And I figured Aaron Rodgers stuff should probably start to take off more this week. So I said, you know what? I'll wait it out. Once the news drops, I'm going to have a pod. Rodgers says today, I want to play for the Jets. We're making a pod. We're doing a pod now. I'll have this one up today. I have a special Rangers video coming out tomorrow. So I'll do that as well. So you have videos. Although no video Monday, I'll have a video today, tomorrow, and then Friday. So I'll have 3 straight days of videos, 3 straight days of content for all you guys. So I figured no video on Monday, but I'll have 3 videos out coming out over the next 3 days. So I'll still obviously hit the 3 days videos per week, which I've obviously been doing. So there's a lot of excitement right now for both the Jets and the Giants. But this is the Bubbs on Sports podcast, and let's get right into it. We got to get started here. Kind of timing-wise, I want to try to keep this short and sweet. We're going to talk Jets. We're going to get to the Giants as well, and they're signing a Darren Waller, which I think is a great move for them. But we got to start with the New York Jets, as Aaron Rodgers today came out and said, I want to play, I intend to play for the New York Jets this season. It is now all about Joe Douglas and the New York Jets and in the Green Bay Packers coming to an agreement on compensation, which definitely could happen here within the next couple of days. Get a deal officially done, get Rodgers officially to the New York Jets, and get this train rolling. What a time to be a New York Jets fan. I just wrapped up a podcast on In the Trench with Gangrene, a Jets podcast that I do. If you're interested, go check that out, talking all things Aaron Rodgers and New York Jets, obviously. But I got to start today. All of the pain that us Jets fans have gone through. For the older Jets fans, the days of Rich Kotite, to the late days of Rex Ryan, obviously the final couple seasons there. You know, the John Idzik days of, when they obviously Tannenbaum gone, Idzik comes in, all that garbage. To the Todd Bowles days, which first season showed some promise, ended in disappointment, going up to Buffalo and losing. The next 3 years were 5-win seasons and 4-win seasons. To drafting Sam Darnold and hiring Adam Gase, turning him into a bust. Gase season 2 wins in 2020, going 2-14. Frank Gore running up the middle, blowing the tank on Trevor Lawrence. All of this pain, frustration, dysfunction that this organization has provided Jets fans, specifically over the course of this 12-year playoff drought that we're on and 54-year Super Bowl drought that we're on. We so deserve this as New York Jets fans. We so deserve a future Hall of Fame quarterback, a guy that won back-to-back MVPs in 2020 and 2021, a guy that's a Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl champion, and not only gives the Jets a chance to make the playoffs, but gives the Jets a legitimate chance, hold on, wait for it, win a Super Bowl. How does that sound, New York Jets fans? Jets, 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 Jets. What a time to be alive as a New York Jets fan. It really is. This is a celebration. This is the best I've felt in a very long time. All the years of pain We're finally coming out of it. To use Aaron Rodgers as a term, we're coming out of the darkness. And the light is here. An opportunity to win is right now. This is a win-now team. Rookies on rookie contracts. You don't have to worry about paying them right now. Down the road, you're going to have to pay them. These guys are still on rookie deals. You're bringing in Rodgers. This is your time to win. We talk about every year the expectation is, try and be competitive. December football, play meaningful games in December, all that great stuff. That's not the conversation anymore. The conversation is potentially winning a Super Bowl. Potentially having mid to late February 2024, down the Canyon of Heroes, Aaron Rodgers hoisting up the Lombardi on a float down the Canyon of Heroes. That's what we're talking about right now as Jets fans, and that's a realistic expectation. Realistic expectations to win the division. A realistic expectation is to not only get to the playoffs, but make a deep run. And there's a realistic possibility Aaron Rodgers delivers a Super Bowl to the New York Jets and gives what we've all been wanting for 54 years. 54 years since the last time Joe Namath walked off the field holding up the number 1. That's how long it's been. And during those 54 years, it's been a lot of pain. It's been a lot of suffering. It's been bad. But Jets fans, this is amazing. And for those of you who have been through it before, now that Aaron Rodgers is coming here, this feels even better. And for those of you that are jumping on the Rodgers bandwagon, welcome aboard. It's going to be a fun time as a New York Jets fan. A lot of things to be excited about. And I've talked about this a lot. I've talked a lot about this a lot this offseason. That I was pro Derek Carr. I would be okay with Derek Carr. My number one biggest concern with Aaron Rodgers was his motivation. How motivated would he be to play? Would he want to play with the New York Jets? What would he want to do? Are the Jets going to have to persuade him, come? If he says, I want to retire, but are the Jets going to retire, or the Jets are going to come and say, please, we need you, and beg him? And is he going to come in here and be not that motivated? Well, those questions were answered today because we're getting we're getting a ticked off Aaron Rodgers. That's what we're getting. We're getting a guy that's kind of upset with the way it ended in Green Bay. As he said, he went into the darkness retreat, 90% retiring, 10% coming back. He came out of it. He felt like, okay, I kind of want to play after going over his options. He hears that Green Bay is shopping him, and he's kind of like, you know what? No, I want to come back. I want to play for another team, and I want to win. And I want to win a championship. I want to do this outside of Green Bay. I want to do this with the Jets. That's another thing. When's the last time we've been able to say a guy of Aaron Rodgers' magnitude openly said, I want to play for the New York Jets? When did that happen? Not many times. It's been a while. It's another thing. Times are changing. Times are changing for the better as the New York Jets fan and as the New York Jets franchise as a whole. And I've been very critical of Woody Johnson, very critical throughout, throughout me on this podcast, for the past however many years I've had it. I think 4 or 5 years now, and I appreciate all you guys for the support. I actually just hit 80 subscribers. I appreciate it. And these videos are going to get a lot better with Aaron Rodgers as the New York Jet. I'll tell you that for sure. It's not going to be many more negative rants. I'm feeling a lot more positive rants over the course of next season with the New York Jets. And obviously all other sports teams as well. But I've been very critical of Woody, but I got to admit, you got to give him credit where credit's due here. He wanted the shiny object. He wanted the guy that's going to sell tickets. He wanted Aaron Rodgers, not Derek Carr. And we're getting Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets stuck to their word. They were all in on Rodgers. They wanted him. They knew this thing would drag out. They had a 4-hour meeting with him last week. And Rodgers made up his mind. He wants to be a New York Jet. Aaron Rodgers wants to be a New York Jet. That has a real nice ring to it. That feels great to say. It sounds great. What a time to be a New York Jets fan. He said, quote, since Friday, I made it clear my intention is to play, and my intention is to play for the New York Jets. Gang green, New York Jets, Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers. And to all those out there that don't think this is smart, good, bad, or to all those out there that think this is a same old Jets type of move, give me a break. Cut that crap. All right, give me a break. To all of those who think that this is a same old Jets type of move, saying, they brought in Rodgers, it's the same old Jets. You would have been, all these people, these media people, would have been saying the same thing if we got Derek Carr. They missed out on the Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers. We get Rodgers, same old Jets, went all out for an old quarterback. Give me a break. This guy's motivated. He wants to play. He wants to do something special in New York. And I've talked about this a lot on this podcast. I think a lot of Jets fans have talked about it a lot as well. Like, this is the Jets winning a Super Bowl with the New York Jets would be better, would mean so much more to this organization than any other organization. Like, we haven't won one in 54 years. Specifically the last decade. The last 12 years have been abysmal as a New York Jet fan. To go on and win a Super Bowl here, to win in this city, to win in New York, the Big Apple, gang green, running off the field, holding up the number one, first time doing that since Joe Namath. You realize what this would mean to this organization, and I think Rodgers recognizes that. I do. The Packers didn't want him anymore. He was kind of a little frustrated, kind of like, really, this is how it's going to end, and I did all this for this organization, and now you're kind of just going to say, we're going to get rid of you. That's kind of how it's going to go now. He realizes the Jets want him. I think he realizes the history of the game, what this would mean to the fan base, what this would mean to us Jets fans if Rodgers comes here. I think he recognizes that. And, man, oh man, you get a motivated Aaron Rodgers, you're getting one of the best quarterbacks in football. Let's just be honest here. Let's not forget the fact that this was a guy that has won 2 MVPs in the last 3 years, back to back. So, let's do this. Let's go. Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet. So, he kind of also said, too, in the press conference that he felt, he said, that he feels like he wants to be a Jet. He wants this to get done with. He kind of put some pressure on the Packers, like, hey, you don't want me. I want to go to the Jets. Let's get this thing done. He's kind of urging the Packers to get a deal done because he wants to get out of there. They want to move on from him. Aaron Rodgers wants to get to the Jets and get this ride started. I'm looking forward to it. March 15th, 2023. The start of the Aaron Rodgers, I guess officially is when the trade officially comes through and he puts his inductory press conference and all that stuff. But the one big question now, I guess there's two. It's trade compensation, which now it's up to Joe Douglas to get this deal done. Look, they'll get it done. They're going to get this deal done. Boomer Esiason has talked about this a lot on the does a great job, obviously, Boomer and Gio, 6 to 10 Eastern in the morning, CBS, and obviously WFAN. He said that, he's been saying for a while March 17th is a big date. Compensation, I think the way the salary cap or something like that is where a deal could be agreed upon. And then the other big question is what number he's going to wear. He kind of talked about today that's not really his focus right now. Like, that will be something decided down the road. I do feel like Rodgers understands the history of the game. I think he understands what Joe Namath meant to this franchise, what Joe Namath still means to this franchise. Joe Namath is still, to this day, the only quarterback to win a Super Bowl here. And let's be honest, still to this day, the greatest quarterback to ever wear the green and white. So I do think he realizes that. His college number is obviously number 8. Elijah Moore's wearing number 8, but I don't think Elijah Moore, I don't think he'll have any issue handing over the number 8 for a guy that's going to just boost his stats. And hey, I'm coming here, I need the number 8. You want it? I'm going to take it, but I don't think Elijah Moore will really care. Aaron Rodgers is only going to help you. Fine, have my number. I don't care. You're going to give me better stats. You're going to give me better numbers. So, is Elijah Moore? I don't think Elijah Moore will be included in the deal. With the Lazard signing yesterday, which is also a very good move for the Jets as well. I talked about it yesterday in the Trench with Gang Green podcast, but with the Lazard signing is very good. Big, physical, 6'5", good in the red zone, versatile, can do a little bit of everything, can play slot, can play outside, very good run and pass blocker. Red zone. Good one-on-one, physical, just a good kind of in-the-trenches type receiver that can do a lot of really good things. And he's young, and I've talked about that a lot. 4-year, $44 million, $22 million guaranteed. I like Lazard a lot. I really do. I've said it a lot, over the course of the past couple days where during this whole thing of Rodgers wanting to bring in guys, which turns out to not be true. He said today that, he actually texted Schefter that none of the stuff he was saying is true, saying like he'll lose his number. That his wish list wasn't true, and he was demanding the Jets to bring in guys in order for him to go there, and that wasn't true. And since Friday, he's been a Jet. So it's Wednesday. That's how crazy. And Trey Wingo is right. He was right. The deal was done. Now it's all about compensation, everything that coming together, and Rodgers will be a New York Jet in no time. And then the big question comes what number he wears, but I'm perfectly fine debating that. I don't know. If I had to guess, Namath, I know, said he'll hand it over. If I had to guess, I do feel like Rodgers will be a guy that kind of respects the history of the organization. I think it would also be, again, 12's already won a Super Bowl here. Not that, it would be, again, not that it matters, if there's number 8 that wins a Super Bowl. But I think Rodgers, does realize what he means to the organization, Namath. I think he would have no issue going back to 8. I really don't care. I don't care if he wears number 0. I just want him to win here, and ultimately, it would be great if this ends up in a Super Bowl. That's ultimately the goal. Let's be honest here, Jets fans. That's it. This is a guy that can legitimately do that. And I know, block out the rest of the outside noise. Block out the other NFL, the media, people like that. They don't know what they're talking about. This is a guy that can come here and win a Super Bowl. Because, again, those people that are criticizing the Jets for getting Rodgers were the same people 3 weeks ago that said passing up on Rodgers, they'd be stupid. Those are the same people that are now saying, oh, Rodgers isn't good anymore. The same people that are saying Rodgers isn't good anymore were the same people 3 weeks ago saying, oh, the Jets are really going to take Derek Carr over Rodgers. It's a lose-lose when you look at it from a media perspective. It is. So I don't care about that. When he comes here and he wins, nobody's going to be talking. It's going to be great. Again, I've all talked it's open the show. The storylines, the Jets have always been in the newspapers, the New York Post. They've always been in the media, the radio shows for all the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons. To the Rich Kotite days, to the Adam Gaze, can't stop wiggling his, Bob, whatever you want to call it. Can't stop moving his eyes around during his press conference. To the Sam Darnold mono. To all of these different fiascos that have gone on. To all the different dysfunction that has gone on with the New York Jets. To finally be getting praised, to finally be feeling good, to finally be, a storyline for a good thing, bringing in Aaron Rodgers, it feels great. It's refreshing. It really is. We deserve this. We so deserve this as New York Jets fans. This franchise has put us through some of the most pain any football fans have been put through for any franchise. Let's just be honest here, really, especially recently. I know there's some franchise, the Bills are a perfect example. They've gone through pain. What was it, 18 years without making the playoffs? But recently, they've been a lot better. They have been. Jets still haven't gotten it right. Now they've gotten it right. They brought in Rodgers. We got Aaron Rodgers. He's here. It's all about getting the compensation done, and what a time to be a New York Jets fan. Across town as well, we got some news with the New York Giants as they went out and got obviously Darren Waller. Sorry, his name escaped me for a second. Darren Waller, bringing him in, obviously, as a tight end to continue to build around Daniel Jones. And what a move for the Giants. This is a Giants team that I continue to say it, and I've said it yesterday. I talked about it. This is a team that could win the NFC East. They really could. It's funny because we talked about a Jets or a Yankees-Mets World Series. Now it's Jets-Giants Super Bowl. You assume both of them are going to be in the playoffs. The Giants are only getting better, and the Jets just got Rodgers. So both of them are going to be in the big dance. It's just a matter of getting there. Obviously, it's going to be tough, but it's a fun time to be a New York football fan. Legitimately, there's going to be the playoff games next year where both the Jets and the Giants are going to be involved, and we're going to be going into the weekend. This podcast is going to be loaded up with content because we're going to be talking Jets, we're going to be talking Giants. It's great. It really is. Last year, obviously, with the Giants, this past season, very fun year for them. Disappointing season for the Jets the way it ended. But next year, you fully expect. Expectation going into the year is high for both teams. And, I mean, the Jets, too, we haven't had a Sunday night game in forever. We barely get primetime games. We're probably going to max out on primetime games. I mean, the game against Kansas City is probably going to be primetime. You could probably almost guarantee maybe one of the games against Buffalo might be primetime. I believe again, New England, I wouldn't be shocked if that's primetime. Little Rodgers, Belichick action. You got to beat New England. I think the Jets will finally do that with Rodgers. But Darren Waller to the Giants specifically here. The Giants are giving away, I believe, third round pick to the Raiders for Darren Waller. The Raiders are weird. They don't make sense. They're such a weird team, weird organization. They bring in Jimmy G, which I think is a good signing. And when that happened, it was officially all aboard for Rodgers because that was kind of like the backup plan for the Jets. It was like, okay, if you don't get Rodgers, you get Jimmy G. So once Jimmy G was off the board, it's like, all right, Rodgers has to come here now. But back to the Darren Waller thing with the Raiders. Like, they brought in Jimmy G. They have Devontae Adams. They have Josh Jacobs. And now they're getting rid of Darren Waller. It's like, what are they doing? They just brought in a really solid quarterback that matches up, obviously. Now, they did bring in Jacoby Myers, who has experience. Josh McDaniels, Patriots had the connections. Jimmy G, Josh McDaniels, connections. But now they just got rid of their best tight end, like their tight end. Like, it doesn't make much sense to me. What they're doing in Vegas makes no sense. Because they got a good quarterback. If he could stay healthy, Jimmy G could take a team to the playoffs, but getting rid of weapons doesn't make much sense. And I understand Waller's only played 18 games in the last 2 years, but this is a guy, when he's healthy, is one of the best tight ends in all of football. I mean, this was a guy who had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2019 and 2020. The only reason his numbers have taken a dip the past 2 years is because he played 11 games in 2021, and he played 9 games last year. When this guy's healthy, he's a top 5, top 3 tight end in football. There's not much debate. So, Giants needed tight end. They bring back Jones. They bring back Saquon. They needed to build around Daniel Jones. They do that here, getting Waller. That was a big need. And they also bring back Sterling Shepard. If he could stay healthy, he's solid. Health's the biggest thing with him. But you really like this move for the Giants. You got a very good tight end. You know how I feel about the tight end position. It's very important. Giants haven't had one. You bring him in. You get Daniel Jones a weapon. I do still think they could probably go after a guy like a T. Higgins or a Thielen or somebody like that. But this Giants team's built up, and they got to improve a little bit, obviously, on the defense side of the ball, and they did that. They brought in, obviously, the linebacker from Indy, bringing him in. A very good linebacker. When you look at some of his PFF stuff, he was like top 10, top 7 in the league last year. They got a linebacker. They get a tight end. A very good start to the offseason for Joe Shane and the New York Giants. A very good start, filling 2 of their biggest needs. Getting a weapon on Daniel Jones' side, and getting a linebacker, which the poor linebacker play was really evident in that Eagles playoff loss with the speed difference. And they're bringing in one of the better linebackers last year in the league, obviously from Indy, bringing him in. So Giants, although, again, Jets have obviously taken a lot of the NFL media, a lot of the New York media. They've had a very good start to the offseason. We heard that they were going to be aggressive, and they've done that so far. And the Giants are getting better. They were a playoff team last year, divisional round. You assume they only get better. They're going to be in an even better position to make more noise. And you look at their division. The Eagles got rid of Slay. Hargrave is now going to the Niners. They're losing some pieces. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's available out there. We've talked about this. The Eagles have a lot of decisions to make. Even though they were Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl last year, they have a lot of decisions to make. We've talked about that a lot here on the show. I've mentioned that a couple times. The Eagles are getting worse right now. The Giants are getting better. And as much as, the Cowboys got rid of Elliott, but Pollard's really their guy, as much as they did bring in Stephon Gilmore, he's not the same player he once was. They got him for like a 5th-round pick. The Giants are getting better while the other teams in the NFC are kind of just standing, the Cowboys, all right, they got Gilmore, but they're still they're not making any big strides. The Eagles are getting worse. The Giants are getting better. This is a Giants team that's set up right now, bringing in, a couple more pieces on defense and a receiver like a T. Higgins, who I really think is a great fit for the Giants. This is a team that can win the NFC East next year. Exciting times to be a New York football fan. One more thing I want to add on to Aaron Rodgers before we close things out here on a Wednesday program. One more thing. Jets the last 3 years have won 13 games. 2 in 2020, 4 in 2021, and last year they won 7. Aaron Rodgers gives you a good chance to win 13 games this season. That should also increase the excitement level among Jets fans as well. And that's to the national media too. To those of you who don't think the Jets can do much with Rodgers, how many wins do you think they're going to have? Probably 12, 13. That's the amount they've had the last 3 years combined We've seen 13 wins the last 3 years. There's a good chance we see 13 wins this season with Aaron Rodgers. Great time to be a New York Jets fan. Great time to be a New York football fan in general. Obviously, a lot to break down in terms of March Madness and stuff. Kentucky's in against Providence. We'll talk a little about that game on Friday. As for the NBA tonight, Knicks and Nets are both off. Tough loss last night for the Nets. We're winning. Thunder came back. DFS missed that dunk, and it was kind of like ever since that, the momentum shifted. Knicks got the win. Mitchell Robinson goes on social media, expresses some frustration after a road win. Not a good look for a young player, but the Knicks win. Tonight you got Cavs, Sixers, Heat, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Celtics, Bucks, Kings, Bulls, Lakers, Rockets, Mavericks, Spurs, Warriors, Clippers. And as for the NHL tonight, you got 4 games on. Avalanche, Maple Leafs, Sabres, Capitals. And you got the Blues, Wild, and the Islanders will be out west in Anaheim to visit the Ducks. Rangers with a big win last night, still mixing and mashing with the lines. Kane with a goal, Panarin. A couple of nice plays, passing still, a little less on the passing on the power play, but all around the Rangers looked really good, especially in the first period last night. A lot of really good pressure early on. So it was a good win last night for the Rangers, and now 2 big games coming up. Tomorrow and then Saturday against Pittsburgh. 2 big games in the Metropolitan for the New York Rangers with Pittsburgh coming to town. So a lot to be excited about. But that has been another episode of the Bubbs on Sports podcast. As I mentioned, stay tuned. We'll have a video out tomorrow talking Rangers with a special guest, so stay tuned. Looking forward to that. We'll be recording that here in about an hour. And then Friday, I'll have another video up. Potentially, we're talking Rodgers trade compensation and then a little March Madness as well, getting you ready for a full weekend full of March Madness. So a lot to look forward to. As always, hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. A lot more content coming your way. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, thanks for watching.